Fire. There is a certain ancient magic woven into it. How it begins as a whisper of smoke, fragile and uncertain, then builds into a fierce, roaring blaze. Fire transforms wood to ash, but also forges steel. It destroys and creates. So too is failure, the unpredictable spark in the forge of our lives. It can consume us if left to rage uncontrolled, or it can become the very flame that strengthens our resolve, hardens our spirit, and tempers our character. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, understood this deeply. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When life closes a door with a resounding crash, Marcus taught us to turn the rubble into a pathway forward. Failure is not a stop sign, it is a compass. We are not victims of our setbacks, but alchemists of our pain and disappointment. The ancient Stoics, with their unyielding acceptance of fate's blows, reveal that within every failure is an invitation to rise, to reflect, to become more than before. To harness failure as fuel, we first embrace the mindset of a learner, not a loser. Nietzsche, the philosopher who once declared, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," captures the essence of this transformation. The hardship, the loss, the stumbles are not chains, but weights on a blacksmith's anvil. Each blow, each scar sends shockwaves through our core, forging resilience and power. Nietzsche's call is not for passivity, it is for active becoming, a perpetual dance with suffering, where each fall is but a prelude to soaring higher. His vision demands we refuse to wallow in defeat, and instead build a new table from the broken pieces of our lives. Belief forms the bedrock beneath this transformation. Benjamin Franklin's famous words echo like a clarion call. Energy and persistence conquer all things. He, a man of relentless discipline and endless curiosity, teaches that failure is often the shadow of effort too faint to be seen. In the process of personal growth, every misstep is but a lesson disguised, urging us to adjust, to refine, to persevere. The course to success is rarely straight. It is a winding river that carves canyons by persistent flow, never by force. It is here that clarity begins to seep in, like dawn light spilling across a darkened room. In the wake of failure, the mind can either scatter into frenzy or focus like a surgeon's blade. Lao Tzu, the sage of the Tao, reminds us through his gentle wisdom. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. To turn failure into fuel requires us to find stillness amidst chaos, to surrender control even as we move forward with purpose. Clarity is the quiet fire within that forbids distraction, ignites insight, and reveals new direction. It is not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning with the greater flow of life. Once clarity is found, vision takes hold. Not mere wishful dreaming, but a vivid and tangible picture of what lies on the other side of struggle. The great minds urge us to visualize not only the prize, but the process, the grind, the moment-to-moment choices. Visualizing success conditioned the great Benjamin Franklin's lifelong habits. He saw himself as the architect of his own destiny, sketching blueprints in his mind before the first bricks were laid. To fuel the fire of transformation, visualization becomes the forge where raw potential is shaped into promising reality. Ambitious goals, born of clear vision, demand discipline. The lessons of history echo endlessly about the supremacy of discipline, that quiet, relentless engine. Without discipline, vision remains a flickering candle snuffed out by the wind of distraction or doubt. Epictetus, who rose above slavery to become a master of thought, spoke with piercing clarity. No man is free who is not master of himself. Discipline is self-mastery, the daily choosing to do what is hard but necessary, to rise when the Body begs for rest, to speak truth when silence tempts. It is the heartbeat of transformation, the fire tender's steady hand that keeps the blaze alive through night's cold, darkest shadows. Action then becomes the inevitable next step. But action fueled by failure is not frantic or reckless. It is deliberate and charged with purpose. History's great minds teach that doing, even imperfectly, is salvation. Marcus Aurelius walked the battlefield of his empire beset by turmoil, yet never succumbed to paralysis. He acted with wisdom born from suffering and understanding. Failure's fuel ignites action that is both bold and measured, a dance of courage and reflection that resets the soul's trajectory. Gratitude, surprisingly, is a hidden pillar in this fire-forging process. It may seem counterintuitive to give thanks in defeat, but this is the subtle alchemy of resilience. When Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has," he pointed to gratitude as a stabilizer. Gratitude transforms the fuel from mere flames to sustaining warmth. It softens the harshness of failure and opens the heart to hope, to connection, to renewed strength. Yet life does not follow a straight path. It bends and shifts like a river, flowing through rock. Adaptability is essential. Lao Tzu's ancient wisdom again guides us. Be like water. Water adapts to the shape of the container, soft and yielding, yet it can wear down stone. To turn failure into fuel, we must flow gracefully with change rather than resist it. Adaptability is not weakness, but a dynamic strength, a willingness to rethink, reimagine, and retool our strategies while staying rooted in our core values. This journey demands resilience, that indefatigable spirit that refuses to be broken. Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch is a metaphor for the human who has mastered the art of overcoming, who embraces life's trials as raw material for growth. Resilience is less about avoiding failure and more about the relentless march forward despite it. It calls for deep inner resources, a faith in self-mastery, and a rebellious refusal to let the past dictate the future. In the grand university of life, learning is both the path and the destination. Each failure is a lesson etched deep into the fabric of our experience. To shut down learning is to extinguish the flame. Benjamin Franklin's insatiable curiosity and lifelong quest for knowledge remind us that growth never ends, that mastery is born of continuous refinement and humility. Wise minds treat failure as a tutor, a mirror reflecting what needs to change and where to focus next. As this fire within blazes ever brighter, an unseen power emerges, a merging of all these elements into a profound transformation. Failure ceases to be mere loss. It becomes the sacred fuel driving the engine of becoming. We learn to dance with adversity, to wield it as a weapon and shield, to light dark tunnels within and without. This inner alchemy turns ashes into diamonds, scars into badges of honor. Do you feel that fire stirring within yet? That steady, simmering blaze ready to remake you? Life's hardest lessons are not punishments but invitations to deeper understanding, greater courage, and expansive growth. To turn failure into fuel is not a passive act. It is an active, willful, and courageous journey taken by those who refuse to be defined by their falls, but only by the strength of their rising. The great minds who walked before us carved stairways through their struggles for us to follow. Now the torch is in your hands. Let the sparks of your setbacks ignite a powerful flame, a fire that lights your path, fuels your passion, and reshapes your very soul. For in the crucible of failure, the strongest steel is forged. Rise from the ashes, burn brighter, become unstoppable. In the silence that follows the roaring fire of transformation, there lies a profound truth. Failure is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of authorship. Marcus Aurelius implored himself every day to waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. This simple yet profound exhortation reveals the final alchemy. The turning of failure into purpose and action becomes not just about overcoming, but about embodying. Our failures shape us, but they do not define us unless we allow them to. The ancient Stoic emperor's practice of daily discipline, reflection, and resolve shows us that character is the ultimate flame we must ignite and protect. The canvas of history is filled with those who faced crushing defeats and yet found ways to rise, rebuild, and redefine their legacies. Benjamin Franklin, a self-made man, failed in business early on, and yet channeled those setbacks into lifelong curiosity and self-improvement that ultimately shaped a nation. Lao Tzu's humble wisdom teaches us that greatness does not require grandeur, but a receptiveness to learning and flow. That yielding is often the greatest form of strength. This gentle power can carry us through the storms when fury only scatters. Yet there is an element beyond self that stitches the fabric of transformation, the community and connection that nurture our growth. The philosopher's journey is not a solitary path, but one interwoven with others. Epictetus counseled that we are social by nature, and that our failures, when shared and reflected upon with trusted companions, become collective wisdom. This shared human struggle transforms failure from an individual shame into communal knowledge and inspiration. When vulnerability is embraced, empathy flourishes, and with it, the courage to carry on. The fire that failure ignites is eternal, not because it burns unceasingly, but because it renews itself again and again. Each generation inherits the embers of those who dared not surrender. Each spark of failure in our lives becomes a kindling for the next. Nietzsche's vision of the eternal recurrence challenges us to live fully, to embrace the cyclical nature of suffering and growth, and to say yes to life in all its jagged beauty. Our failures are woven into this eternal dance, echoing through time, each of us both student and teacher on this shared journey. So, as you stand amidst the ashes of your own trials, remember, to fail is to participate in the grand tradition of becoming. Let that fire within you burn with intention and clarity. Trust in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Lao Tzu, Nietzsche, Epictetus, Benjamin Franklin, and the countless souls who remind us that transformation is not myth, but possibility. In your hands lies the power to turn every fall into flight, to forge failure into the fuel that propels you beyond limits you once thought unbreakable. Rise then, with the quiet strength of one who knows that the night is darkest just before dawn, that from the ashes of failure, the brightest light is born. Be relentless, be wise, be compassionate. Let your fire feed the soul of your future, an unstoppable blaze lighting the way for yourself and for those who will follow. The journey ahead is not paved with guarantees, nor is it a straight line carved by destiny's hand. Instead, it is an unfolding tapestry, each thread woven through moments of hesitation and courage, losses and victories. As you move forward, remember the lessons etched by those who came before you. That true power is married to humility, strength paired with flexibility. Consider Epictetus once more, who lived a life bound by chains yet soared above limitations through the mastery of his will. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This truth resounds like a drumbeat through the ages because it invites you to reclaim the narrative. In every failure, you have a choice: to bow beneath its weight or to stand taller, to sink into despair or rise in defiance. The fire you kindle is the fuel for that choice made anew each day. There is a sacred rhythm to this process, the ebb and flow of setbacks and breakthroughs, loss and renewal. Lao Tzu's water teaches patience and persistence, wearing down the hardest stones not by force, but by steady persistence. When life overwhelms, when doubt crowds in, surrender your frantic grasping and allow resilience to emerge like water, flowing around obstacles, not against them. Look to history's innovators and visionaries who proved that failure is merely a pivot, a turning in the dance toward greatness. The entrepreneur who stumbles over hundreds of attempts doesn't fail. She learns, adapts, and pushes forward with renewed vision. Nietzsche's call to become who you are is a summons to shed the skin of self-doubt and emerge into the radiant possibility beneath. Imagine your failure as a chrysalis, containing the raw material for transformation. Yet transformation is not a solitary flame. It is a beacon that reaches across the darkness to others wandering their own night. In sharing your story, unvarnished, raw, real, you become both torchbearer and guide, lighting the way for those who come after. Marcus Aurelius, who bore the burdens of empire, did not shy away from his humanity. He invites us to stand firmly in ours, failures and all. As you build your future from the ashes, remember gratitude. It softens the harsh edges and makes space for hope. To be grateful is to honor the entire tapestry, both the light and shadow, and to recognize that even failure serves a higher purpose. Benjamin Franklin's spirit of relentless improvement was rooted in such appreciation for every moment. Every opportunity to grow, in this sacred fire lies your power. The very act of rising becomes an act of defiance against all that would see you diminished. Here, in this moment, you are invited to become the hero of your own saga, the artisan of your destiny. Your failures are the coal beneath the furnace. Without them, the steel remains untempered, weak, brittle. So take up the mantle. Feed your flame with courage and discipline. Shield it with resilience and clarity. Own your failures as fuel and let them propel you into the limitless expanse of what is possible. In doing so, you become more than you ever imagined. A blazing force, an inspiring light, a testament to the unyielding power of the human spirit. Rise now. Burn bright. Transform because you must, because you can, because the world awaits the fire only you can create. In this relentless pursuit of transformation, remember that every ember has a story, a history stamped with struggle, perseverance, and quiet triumph. Your story threads itself into the fabric of time, connecting you to the thinkers who wrestled with themselves and the world, emerging tempered and enlightened. Marcus Aurelius's meditations were not mere thoughts, but dialogues with himself in the darkest hours, reflecting the timeless struggle to rise above adversity and define one's own virtue. The world around you will try to smother your fire through doubt, distraction, and despair. But here lies your secret weapon: belief. The unshakable conviction that your failures are not chains but wings, that your setbacks sketch the blueprint for your comeback. Benjamin Franklin, with his steady tinkering and patience through failure, reminds us that persistence is not a stubborn refusal to fall, but a curious, adaptable wisdom to keep moving, learning, evolving. Look at the phoenix, the mythic creature forever reborn from its own ashes. But here's the truth that history's greatest minds whisper to us: you are not merely reborn once. Failure will come again, as it must, for growth is cyclical. Yet each time you rise stronger, wiser, more radiant. Each failure is a layer, a callus hardened to protect your core, a spark that strikes deeper and lights a wider blaze. The modern world often recoils from failure, silencing voices with fear and shame. But the ancients, from Lao Tzu's water that flows unimpeded to Nietzsche's call to embrace suffering as the crucible of greatness, teach us to welcome failure as an old friend, a wise guide, It holds the keys to clarity, resilience, and innovation. See your journey as a circle rather than a line, where every failure feeds your next step. Every fall becomes a launch pad. When doubt rises, speak to it with the words of Epictetus. Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. What are you? A flicker or a converging tempest? The narrative you choose today, to shrink or to soar, writes the heartbeat of your legacy. Let this legacy be one of courage, wisdom, and relentless fire. The fire that does not consume but illuminates, that does not destroy but creates. Remember, the torch you carry is not only for you, it is for the countless souls watching from the shadows, waiting for permission to ignite their own flames. Make your failure fuel their inspiration. Walk forward, now fearless and fierce. Your fire is waiting. Burn on, and in your burning become a beacon that nothing and no one can ever extinguish. Beneath the surface of every setback lies a hidden truth waiting to be uncovered. That failure, when embraced with courage, becomes the forge of your most authentic self. Like Benjamin Franklin treating each mistake as an experiment, you are invited to adopt a mindset of curiosity, seeing each stumble not as a verdict, but as a valuable data point on your journey. This radical openness to learning transforms what once felt like defeat into a powerful catalyst for reinvention. There is also profound strength in patience, a gift the ancient sages, especially Lao Tzu, gently bestow upon us. The Tao teaches that growth need not be violent or hurried. It is steady, subtle, like the river carving its way through stone. Sometimes, when failure seems unbearable, all you need is to flow with the moment, to accept what is before, charting your course ahead. Patience nurtures resilience, helping the fire within to burn, not in bursts, but in a steady, nourishing flame. Discipline is the silent guardian in this process, the repeated act of choosing presence over avoidance, action over inertia. Epictetus's words ring clear. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Discipline binds belief and vision together into a continuous movement, a sacred dance committed to the relentless pursuit of becoming. Without it, passion flickers and wanes. With it, even the smallest steps acquire immense power. And what of fear, that ancient shadow stalking every path of transformation? Nietzsche called courage the value of values, urging us to embrace life's chaos head-on. Fear seeks to silence, to freeze us in doubt, but when met with the fiery force of intent, it becomes fuel itself. Fear is the coal beneath the furnace. It begs for attention, for confrontation, but most of all, for mastery. Let gratitude be your anchor. When your vision blurs under the weight of failure, gratitude steadies the hand and softens the heart. Remember, Epictetus again, joy comes not from external goods, but from appreciating what we already have. This mindset doesn't minimize struggle, but reframes it. Gratitude widens your lens, revealing the threads of meaning woven through adversity. Your path, forged in fire and illuminated by ancient wisdom, is simultaneously unique and universal. You walk with the echoes of Marcus Aurelius, Lao Tzu, Nietzsche, Epictetus, Benjamin Franklin. Voices united across centuries, telling you that resilience is not a trait, but a practice. That failure is not the end, but the necessary place where transformation begins. In the crucible of your life, turn failure into fuel. Ignite the fire within, nurture it with discipline and gratitude, and let it blaze a trail not just to your success, but to your becoming. Become the living testament to the unbreakable spirit that no setback, no loss, no failure can ever extinguish. Rise now. The fire is yours. Burn with purpose, burn with courage, and in that burning, let the world see the light of your soul, unquenchable, unstoppable, eternal. From the ashes of every failure emerges the opportunity to paint your masterpiece anew. A canvas not of perfection, but of persistence, purpose, and profound growth. You are not bound by past mistakes or broken dreams. Instead, you are invited to wield them as brushes, each stroke rich with the wisdom etched by experience. It is this act of creation, born from destruction, that breathes life into your destiny. The philosophers teach us that transformation is a living, breathing process, not a fixed goal. Marcus Aurelius's meditations reveal a man constantly striving to align his soul with reason amid chaos and loss. His life was a testament to embracing imperfection and remaining present in struggle. Similarly, your journey demands presence, the mindful acknowledgement of pain, the intentional harnessing of failure, and the restless curiosity to see what lies beyond. In this journey, the timeless rhythm of change reveals itself. Like Lao Tzu's flowing water, you learn to move with life's currents, using its energy rather than resisting. Failure becomes a dance partner, teaching you new steps, guiding your pace, and expanding your capacity. The rhythm is steady, inevitable, and profoundly liberating. Self-mastery, echoed through Epictetus's teachings, becomes your shield and sword. It is the practice of mastering what lies within, so external forces lose their power to unbalance you. This mastery grows with every choice toward discipline, action, and reflection. With each aligned choice, the fire deepens, a steady glow that no storm can extinguish, and within this fire, belief shines brightest. Benjamin Franklin's tireless pursuit of improvement reminds us that belief without action is mere wishful thinking, and action without belief is directionless. Together, they forge a path forward, illuminating the darkness of failure with the light of possibility. Your belief fuels your actions reinforce your belief in an unbreakable cycle of growth. Gratitude carves space for peace amid this fiery transformation. It is the gentle fuel that prevents burnout, the quiet voice reminding you that even in the hardest chapters, life offers gifts, lessons, relationships, growth. This acceptance is not resignation, it is power, the ability to hold complexity with grace. As you harness failure into fuel, a new vision emerges. One not tethered to external validation, but rooted in the integrity of your personal journey. Nietzsche challenges us to become who you are, a call to authenticity forged in the crucible of trials. Your vision becomes not a distant mirage, but a guiding star, constant and unwavering, lighting every step from the ashes forward. This fire you nurture is a beacon not only for yourself, but for others. The courage to rise, to fail, and to rise again is a lighthouse for those still caught in stormy seas. Your journey weaves into the great tapestry of human resilience, connecting you to all who have dared to transform suffering into strength. So rise with the courage of the ancients, with the wisdom of philosophers and the heart of a pioneer. Burn beyond limits, fueled by failure, driven by belief, and anchored in gratitude. You are the flame in the dark, unyielding, radiant, eternal. Walk now into your becoming, each step a spark, each breath a blaze, because within you lies the power to turn every failure into the fuel of your fiercest, brightest life. Failure is not the ruin it often seems. It is the fertile soil from which greatness grows. Look to the past, to the towering figures who have left indelible marks on the world, and you will find stories of countless setbacks woven into their triumphs. Benjamin Franklin's experiments were peppered with failure, each mistake a stepping stone toward invention. Marcus Aurelius faced the collapse of empires and personal loss, yet found strength in steadfast discipline and acceptance. Nietzsche, encountered profound inner turmoil, yet emerged with a philosophy that celebrates struggle as the crucible of becoming. This tapestry of failure and renewal extends beyond individual experience. It pulses at the heart of the human condition. Every fall teaches us resilience. Every scar tells a story of survival. But this is no tale of mere endurance. It is a call to rise anew, armed with the fierce clarity that only failure can grant. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that the true measure of freedom lies in mastery over one's responses, not external circumstances. This mastery is not bestowed. It is forged, tempered in the fire of adversity. Your failures are sparks, but from those sparks can rise a constellation, each star a lesson illuminating the night sky of your life's journey. Together, these stars form a guiding map, a beacon cutting through the darkest doubts and fears. Like Lao Tzu's flowing water shaping the landscape with quiet persistence, these lessons will carve new channels, redirecting your course toward purpose. Fear is inevitable, but it too can be the fuel for transformation. Nietzsche's exhortation to embrace life's hardships as essential to greatness offers a radical mindset shift. Fear need not paralyze, it can energize. Standing in the face of fear with intention and discipline, you harness a power far greater than avoidance or denial. The fire of fear becomes the fire of action. Visualize your failure not as an end, but a forge, where your rawest materials are shaped into strength. Like a blacksmith bending red-hot metal, you wield discipline, belief, clarity, and gratitude to shape every setback into a tool for progress. This forging does not erase the scars, it honors them, making them integral to your story of becoming. And so, you move forward. Each step is a deliberate strike against doubt, each breath a fan that stokes the growing blaze within your soul. You are not alone on this path. The wisdom of those who forged before you flows through your veins, urging you onward with fierce love and unshakable hope. Rise, then, with the steady power of the ancients and the bright fire of your own making. Let every failure be the fuel that propels you higher, fiercer, and more radiant than ever before. In your burning, become the light, unstoppable, unbreakable, eternal. And now, standing at the edge of your own becoming, you carry within you a profound truth whispered across millennia. Failure is not your enemy, but your most steadfast ally. It is the unpredictable fire that consumes the dross and reveals the purest essence of your character. Like the great minds of history, you are called not to fear failure, but to embrace it, to welcome it as the grand teacher that will ignite your spirit and forge your legacy. Marcus Aurelius taught that the universe moves as it must, and in this movement, every obstacle is ordained as a stepping stone. So too must you see each failure, not as a blow that breaks you, but as the very ground where your strength takes root. Your journey is not measured by the absence of falling, but by the courage to rise time and again with renewed purpose. Hold fast to the discipline that Benjamin Franklin exemplified, cultivating habits that transform vision into reality and daily effort into greatness. Let clarity, inspired by Lao Tzu's flowing wisdom, steady your mind amidst chaos, allowing you to navigate change with grace rather than resistance. Drink deeply from the well of Epictetus's resilience, mastering your mind so that external storms cannot shake the inner flame you nurture. And through it all, carry gratitude as your constant companion, a quiet but powerful force that lights even the darkest paths. For gratitude turns hardship into opportunity and fuels a heart that refuses to be beaten down. Your failures are not pockets of shame to hide, but fires to stoke, illuminating not only your own way, but the paths of those who follow. In this sacred fire, You become more than the sum of your setbacks. You become a beacon, a living testament to the unbreakable human spirit capable of rising, burning and shining eternal. Rise now, with fierce heart and steady hands. Rise to become the alchemist of your own life, transforming failure into the fuel that powers your brightest blaze. The world waits for your light. Burn with all that you are. Illuminate the darkness. Become unstoppable.